DJI status in the USA, August 5th, 2025. Got that coming up next. Bill the Drone Reviewer here. Like the content of this video or anything on my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. With that, let's begin. The other night, I hosted Rotor Talk Live and was joined by Mr. Ron Brown. We spent the better part of the evening discussing all the latest about DJI status in the USA, including the SkyRover X1 Drone, the DJI Osmo 360, and updates regarding the DJI Mini 5 Pro. Without any further ado, let's roll that clip in its entirety. One of my favorite drone reviewers out there, Sean from Air Photography. Sean just, no fluff, no, you get it like it is from him, and that's what I love about Sean. He just tells you exactly like it is, doesn't sugarcoat it. Put out a great video. Now, he did a comparison video between the Mini 4 Pro and the SkyRover X1, okay? And it was very interesting, and I definitely watched the video. Now, I'm just going to tell you something here. The range was better with the SkyRover X1 than the Mini 4 Pro. All right. It flew out longer and before, Sean lost signal. Now, a lot of that could be the environment that you're flying in, topography with hills and trees and things like that. You need to take that into account. But all in all, I mean, it held up very well against the Mini 4 Pro and the other areas. Looking at the camera and the video footage and everything, it's hard to discern from the Mini 4 Pro. It really is. It's, and I know what people say. It's another Specta. It's like a DJI clone company and all that. And I get it and I understand that. But I'm basing this on just being called a SkyRover, okay? And from what I've seen and the footage I've seen, I'm very impressed with that footage, okay? So who knows? Maybe I might get one. Who knows? I maybe already have one. I might. I don't know. We'll find out. So, but no, this is a good video, and I encourage you guys to go ahead and take a look at that. Mark White, happy birthday. I know it was your birthday either today or maybe yesterday. I think it was your birthday. So happy birthday. Wanted to make sure I got that in for you. And I know it was somebody else's birthday too, and I'm sorry, I forget who it was. If anybody knows who has another birthday, put it out there. But for Mark White, happy birthday, my friend. It's another year and you're on this side of the dirt, and that's always good news. So congratulations and best wishes, and I hope you had a good day. Okay. All right. Well, this is for the Mini 4 Pro SkyRover from Sean. Watch the video, read the article, but watch the video. Sean does a great job with this. Sean's always succinct to the point, don't need a lot of fluff with that. But I was I'm also impressed with the app that it uses. And now I did reach out to SkyRover and I got a couple of questions answered from them, because I know these are questions I know if I'm going to review the SkyRover X1, cough, cough, that people are going to ask me. And the very first question I asked was about accessories, specifically batteries. And what they told me, they said there are no plans at this time for accessories, including batteries or props. But I was told they're looking into that at this point in time. So just to let you know, all right, that's where it's at as far as batteries and props are concerned, as far as we find out from this. So stay tuned. I'll try to be getting some more information on this, and you may have a review in the future on it. I don't know. Well, we're going to get started here with DJI status in the USA. And the first thing, the article that Drone DJ put out, and this was in regards to, now this came out a couple of days ago.
And Rick Smith made an excellent video about DJI's availability issues too.
Yes, and I wanted to talk about that here in a second as well. It says, once again, another DJI product will not be available in the US, okay? and it goes into and it talks about, and everybody knows this, and I don't want to rehash all of this. You guys are welcome to read this article for why DJI is not bringing what may be its most competitive product to the U.S. DJI officially does not give a specific reason, stating there are multiple reasons why the Osmo 360 will not be available through DJI officially in the U.S. We have to adjust our marketing strategy as local conditions in the industry environment have evolved. Okay. So, you can kind of take that for what it's worth as far as that's concerned. But one of the things that I did want to talk about was Rick Smith put out probably one of the best videos on this, and you guys need to watch it. I did watch that, and Rick was very succinct. He was very to the point, and he sorted things out. It's a great video to watch. So it's something that I would encourage all of you to go ahead and go out there and watch.
And Bill, I'm sure you have it in your group, and it's pinned to the top of the Drone Nation group. If you can't find any.
Yeah, I did get mine. I did get mine out there. Now tomorrow is the last day to comment on Section 232.
Oh yeah.
And I wanted to go ahead and share this. Now, this is...
Hey, but Bill, can I stop you just before you move too far off the subject of DJI availability? iPhoto, he was the only U.S. reviewer, the only reviewer in the U.S. that I saw had the DJI 360 camera. But at some point near the end of his video, he said it would be available in the U.S. sometime in September. So I don't know if he's basing that off of inside knowledge or what, but he clearly stated without any doubt, like in his voice, that it would be available in September in the U.S. So
now I want to talk about that here in just a second. Okay.
Okay. I didn't want to get. I didn't know if you were circling back.
But no, that's a great point.
That. Okay, sorry.
Because I remember you. I know you were talking about that. One of the things that I wanted to show everybody, and I think this is important. When I made mention of the fact for Section 232 last week, I said that there were 60 people who filled this out. Mm-hmm. Right now, it's 650,136 comments. Okay. Wow. So we went from 60 in about a week's time, over 600,000 people have commented on this, Ron, which is fantastic.
Well, you know how it is. It's like a homework assignment. Everybody waits till the last minute.
And you said that so well, because tomorrow's the last day for commenting on this. Okay.
Hopefully that number doubles again, Bill.
Yep, it could double overnight. So that's good news. Okay. So and I know a lot of you, and I've seen your comments on not only on my videos, but some of the links that were posted out on Drone Nation or out on Bill Drone Reviewers group and other comments out on Twitter and everything. And I get it, and I understand why you're not. Let's use the word optimistic here. Okay. Yeah. I want to say this. All right. One of the things I think, and I've been saying this the past few weeks, is, if Wayne Gretzky had a quote, he said, "You miss 100% of the shots that you never take." Okay. All right. Well, if you don't do anything here in this instance, and what I mean doing anything is filling out those forms from Drone Advocacy Group and getting out and commenting on Section 232. If you don't do anything, okay, you're living up to what Wayne Gretzky said. You're missing 100% of your shots. You've never taken them, okay? And taking these shots are important. And one of the things that I've also been saying too, and I can't say this enough, and I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record, but we may not get exactly what we want, but we may get something, and we may get something in our favor that will help us out. We may get them to say, look, we'll give DJI a moratorium for X number of years. Or, if DJI decides to build a plant and employ American workers and only sell their drones in the United States, we'll go ahead and do, something along those lines. We may get some compromise here. So
find a middle ground.
Exactly, Ron. Exactly. So I wanted to make sure to get that in. And I want to thank you guys who are going out there and doing this, okay? Because it does make a difference. When you see those numbers out there, and I can tell you, and I think Vic Moss may have commented on this, he said, one of the things that they look at is, not so much, the nitty gritty of the details, but the number of people who have responded, especially congressmen and senators, it sets off alarm bells for them, because guess what? Okay. Despite of the lobbyists, despite of all the money being thrown at them and everything, okay, it's you and I elect these people and put them in office. So just, bear all this in mind here. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, Bill, I think just one final comment. I think it's just a general. I mean, I hate to say this, but it's just people I think have lost faith in their elected politicians across party lines. People people feel it's worthless because they've lost faith and again, they're represented, because in a lot of states, Bill, people's representatives haven't done a very good at representing them anymore.
Exactly. And
as you put out, there too many politicians represent those what do you call the people coming around with the money? The
lobbyists.
They represent the lobbyists more than they represent the people that voted them in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we're going to take a look at the Mini 5 Pro. There was a substantial leak on it this week, and
probably more information dropped this weekend than up at the whole other rest of the however far you want to go back. Yeah,
I agree, Ron. I agree 100%. First of all, this detailed photograph. Okay, this is like the best photograph.
That's our best photograph by a mile, Bill.
Yeah, I mean, you can see everything on here. It's crystal clear. The sensors up front.
It's not a radical redesign. It looks very similar to our Mini 4 Pros. It
does. And I think the thing that you notice are the sensors up front that kind of stands out, and it's a little wider up here where this gap is right here.
Yeah.
And now there was a misprint on a box that Jasper Ellens got a hold of, and posted that out on his site.
Bill, now, can I stop you for a second? Can we give John Coopy credit? He's the one that found his stuff on Reddit, and he kind of leaked it to the drone groups before anybody else did.
Well, kudos to Coopy for getting that. That's absolutely fantastic. All right, 7 DJI Mini 5 Pro features confirmed. Ultralight and foldable, 1-inch image sensor up to 4K, 120 frames per second, true vertical shooting and 225-degree gimbal rotation, high quality 48-minute mid-tele mode.
Bill, I'm going to stop you there. High quality 48mm mid-tele mode. So we're going to get some kind of a tele on this, and it probably not. We've had zoom. We could zoom on the Mini 4 Pro, but for them to say this line high quality, we're going to get some kind of a tele on this thing. That's going to be a feature that to me is the most interesting.
So that's going to be like a manual zoom. Is that what that means?
Well, I don't know, Bill, but 48mm. That's almost like the 3X. What is the 3X on the Air 3S? The 3X is, I forget the millimeters, but that's almost like having a 3X on the Air 3S on this thing, on the Mini.
Okay. That is an absolutely fantastic feature. Nightscape, omnidirectional optical sensing with forward-facing LiDAR, which we saw from.
No, I'll stop again real fast. Do you think all DJI drones outside the budget drones are going to have LiDAR from this point on?
I think so. I think the only one you probably won't see it on will be like a Mini 4K.
Yeah,
I think everything else is going to have it.
Yeah.
Everything else will have it.
And of course, the FPV drones that don't want sensor. They don't want to be stopped.
Exactly. Now it said active track for running, cycling, and more in 36-minute flight time. Now,
what is the flight time on a Mini 4 Pro on a standard battery? Do you remember?
With a standard, I'm going to say it's pretty close to that right now.
That's not a big jump. Okay.
Because I think with the extended battery, I think it's like 45 minutes.
Okay, so then maybe the regular battery, maybe this is a few minutes more. Then maybe the regular battery is like 32 or something.
Yeah, I think it's a minuscule difference as far as that's concerned. Now, the 1-inch sensor, the overall better camera, the LiDAR, being lightweight descendant of the Mavic 4, we conclude would operate on the O4 platform and be sold as a Flymore combo with the DJI RC2 and DJI RC N3. Now, there's is this a real DJI Mini 5 Pro box? There's some talk about that, and the
No,
agreement
Bill,
was
notice how they didn't say it won't. They didn't mention the RC Pros though. It won't be sold. It won't be sold in a package with the RC Pro too.
right, right. And I
Yeah.
was exactly. Thank you for bringing that up. I was
And
going to
before you go too
mention
far,
that.
it keeps at the top there. It says lightweight and all, but guess what? Nowhere on that box there does it mention under 250 grams. All it says is
That was the
lightweight.
next.
Well,
Exactly.
why
You're
did they
reading my
dance
mind,
around the
Ron.
250-gram thing?
You are reading my mind, my friend. That's exactly what I was going to say. No mention of 249 grams on here. So, and that makes a difference for our friends over in the UK and the European Union,
Big
and
time,
in
yeah,
Canada as well too. It
yeah.
makes a big difference. So, you know, wow, that's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. Now, one of the things, small improvements, missing 249 gram information. There it is, right there. When will it launch? Okay. Now, it was supposed to launch August 7th. All right, and that
Right,
apparently is gone by the wayside.
yeah.
It's now set back to September, just like the DJI Neo 2 that recently appeared in FCC documents, and proving that will also get a bit more juice in its battery as well too.
No,
And here's the
I always thought the 8-7 date. I always thought that was a pipe dream. Anyways, I never felt that was accurate.
okay. It's talking about DJI postponed releases, unavailability in the States. Okay. Now, here's a rumor I've seen from several sources, and it
Hmm.
really kind of is unsubstantiated, but I wanted to get this out there because I wanted to let everybody know about that. Supposedly, and this is just supposedly, okay. This is not Bill and not Ron. This is what I've heard, and I'm just telling you guys this, okay. Supposedly, the reason for this delay is that DJI is working out a deal with the United States Customs Department to be able to sell products in the United States, and this will they will be able to do that. This is what I have heard. Okay, this is just some conjecture and some rumors that are going around, and I've seen it from more
That's the
than
rumblings. Yes, Bill. That is the rumblings with
there's
with nothing verified, of course.
right. Nothing has been verified about this. Jasper hasn't said anything. Igor hasn't said anything, and our good friend Osinolev hasn't said anything about it. But I've seen it from some other sources out there, and I don't want to name those sources. But that is something to keep in mind and keep it in the mix here. All right. Now I know a lot of you, and I know our good friend Michael Wright's in the chat here. And I know our friend Tom Dowling. Tom bought it off his Mavic 4 Pro off of
South Korea,
seller from South
eBay.
Korea
Yeah.
on eBay. And I know Michael Wright did the same thing, and Michael's been pleased with his. I know he has. Michael, I know you're in the chat. And please feel free to comment on that. And there's other ones have done that as well. I think Lon Dennard has done the same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And these people have had very good success with the sellers from South Korea. And so one of the things that I'm going to do, and this is me, I want to get the Mini 5 Pro, okay? And if it's not available in the United States, I'm going to purchase this off that one of those South Korean sellers that Tom or Michael Wright or Lon may have used,
Yeah.
because they've had a really good track record. It's been shipped fast. It's brand new.
Yeah, and apparently both South Korea and Japan, they don't pay the tariffs. The price you pay is the actual price. It won't get held for additional tariffs as it comes into the US.
Exactly. That's a great point, Ron. And I think that's why, and it's South Korea and Japan are like that. So you can look at sellers in Japan as well, too. And I noticed, they're not marking this up. Okay. You're getting pretty much what I think list price would be here in the United States, maybe 100 or two more. I don't know,
Right.
but
Right.
it's not
A
outrageous.
lot of guys are getting the Mavic 4, the flyboard combo with the good control and all that. They're getting it for between 35 and 4 grand.
Yeah,
Which
exactly.
which is which is kind of with the ballpark we thought we thought it would be sold in the US.
Okay, Eric, this is on eBay, okay? And there are some sellers out on eBay. Um, as
Yeah,
far as
I don't remember the names, Eric. But if you watch Drone Nation from not this Monday but the previous Monday, Tom talks about his seller in the show.
yeah, go watch Drone Nation, not this week, but last week. I did watch it, and Tom did specifically mention that. So go out there. They're on eBay, and they're from South Korea. Okay, that's
And
one
none of
thing.
us are getting any kickbacks from all from these eBay sellers, so we're not recommending anybody for any monetary gain. Hey,
No,
Bill,
Richard.
before we get too far off to say this whole issue in the Osmo 360, here's what I found strange, Bill. When the Mavic 4 Pro came out, of course, it never appeared on the US version of DJI's website. It wasn't there at all, and as of today, it's still not there at all, right? But how comes the Osmo 360? How comes it appeared right at 8 a.m. last Thursday morning, but out of stock in all configurations? Why did they put the placeholder in there, for the 360 where they did not do it for the Mavic 4 Pro? Does that go to the theory of what you mentioned about September? So this 360 is a placeholder there until the time in September when it does become available. Is that what's going on here, Bill?
That is an excellent point, Ron, and I really think you hit the nail on the head. I think they put that placeholder out there because I think they're anticipating being able to sell this in the United States. And I know our good friend Richard brought up a good point too, that if the Mini 5 Pro is over 249 grams, they're going to need sales from the United States. Okay,
Right, because we're going to be the only ones buying it in great quantity because, I shouldn't say that. European, Canada, but say you go to Mexico, you go to the Caribbean countries or whatever. A lot those places have no 250-gram rolls. I'm going to say probably at least half the world doesn't have the 250-gram rolls.
Right, and I know it's very prevalent in the UK,
Yeah,
in the the European
EU,
Union
yeah,
countries,
EU, UK, Spain.
and Canada as well too. I know it makes a difference up there, but for us, it doesn't make any difference at all. But
Yeah, I mean,
Richard brought up a good point with
we would
that.
just have to register and pay our $5. That's the only thing it means to us.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So if you want that seller, go back and watch a week ago, Drone Nation. Tom mentioned specifically who it is in the show, so you can look them up. And there's, nobody's getting any kickbacks from anything as far as this is concerned.
I don't care if we don't. I don't have a link, but I don't care if you use Tom's link or not because nobody's getting a cent off of any of this.
Yeah, we're just passing this information back to you and letting you know this. Now, kind of switching gears just a little bit here, but still staying on the same track. And I want to keep this up here. All right, guys need to watch. A lot of people are very confused about all this issue and everything that's going on. Watch Rick Smith's video, okay? Just not once. Watch it a couple of times, okay? And get a pen and a paper out and write some things down about this if you're confused. Rick will sort it out in your mind and straighten everything out.
Oh, Rick got a little more emotional and worked up in this video than he usually does. Rick's usually the happy big smiles, but Rick, you saw a little bit angry Rick in this video.
Yeah, and it's good seeing that, Ron. It really is, because Rick is like, and I think I'll use the term righteous anger, okay, and I think that's kind of the attitude that we should have, not in terms of our actions as far as that's concerned, but stirring us up to the point of going ahead and filling out those comments, filling out those emails from Drone Advocacy Alliance to our congressmen and senators, calling their offices up and leaving them a voicemail or talking to somebody. Okay, these are the kind of things that spur us on to do these things. All right, and one of the things that I think should happen post whatever happens at the end of December, let's say we're fortunate enough and we prevent the ban, okay, and things work out in our favor. I'm just throwing this out there, all right? What we need to do, okay, is drone pilots here in the United States, we need to form a NRA or a ARRL type advocacy group for us, okay? that their main goal and their main purpose is to advocate for Part 107 pilots. Okay, that's it. Okay, and and hobbyists as well too, because we have no voice. Okay, if you remember the NRA, they're a very powerful lobby and a powerful organization, and they've gotten legislation passed. Okay, and I know you've heard me talk about the ARRL. That's for ham radio. Okay, they protect the airwaves. Okay, because one of the things that the FCC would love to do is they can sell portions of the airwaves off to places like AT&T and Verizon and T-Mobile. All right, which takes away from ham radio, and ARRL goes out and defends that. All right. It's the same thing here. Okay. It's what we need. We need an advocacy group, I strongly believe, to defend us in Congress. Okay. And before the government, because we really don't have anything right now. And I got to say this, God bless Vic Moss, because I know, he has his normal everyday job, and then he does Drone Advocacy Alliance on top of that. All right. And he really does a great job at that. And I was trying to get him on. I know he's like super busy, but he said, when he gets some time, we'll see about trying to get him on the show, because I think, he would lay everything out. But one of the other things I'm trying to do is seeing about possibly getting Rick on as well too, because that video really kind of spurred me on. It's kind of like a rally around the flag video. Okay. It's kind of like the videos you would see at the beginning of World War II to try to drum up support, war bonds and things like that, and get people, thinking in that direction. And think of the feeling, that they had back then, and the feeling like we had after 9/11. I mean, we were angry with a purpose. Okay. And we didn't want to let this happen again. And I think that's one thing for us as drone pilots. All right. We don't want to see things like this happen again to us. Yeah. So we need to have a voice out there. And I feel very strongly about this. And that's why I'd like to get Vic Moss on. I'd like to get his input in that. I'd also like to talk to Rick and get his input and see something like that, because we have nothing out there right now. And I know you guys would be glad to pay like $25 or $50 a year to have this and to have somebody be a voice for us.
Yeah, especially if it got some results. Yes.
Exactly.
Hey, Bill, one thing in Rick Smith's, as good as Rick Smith's videos, he did leave one important part out. He didn't talk about the Uyghur situation. Like right now, drones aren't banned yet by, these bills that are, trying to examine it for all the stuff where it's spying. The only reason we can't get these drones now, Bill, is that the customs agents through the Uyghur Act are stopping them at the border. Okay. So that's the real reason why we're not getting drones now. And if they did work this out, well, that would be a benefit to the community. Is even if the ban went in place in December, that would prevent future drones from getting FCC approval. The current drones that we can't get, like the Mavic 4 Pro, the Mini 5 coming out, the Neo 2, they would be available, and they would keep shipping because they already have their approvals.
Exactly.
Correct? So like it wouldn't be such a bad space, even if no new DJI drones got FCC approval, at least for the first couple of years, if we could still buy our current drones. Like again, I'll go Air 3S, Mavic 4 Pro, Mini 5 Pro. If that was the 3 drones you could get, that would be a powerful lineup for years, Bill.
Yeah, it would. And you bring up a good point here, Ron, is, there are so many different ways and directions that this can head in. All right. First of all, Section 232, which is the Commerce Department, and watch Rick's video. Okay. I'm not going to rehash a lot of what he did but this is separate from the bill that really got started by Congressman Stefaniak. Okay. Right. It's separate from that. That was part of the defense appropriations bill, which states now at the end of the year, and you guys know this, and I'm probably preaching to the choir here, that if one of the alphabet agencies doesn't review DJI for national security concerns, then automatically they get put on the list, the FCC covered list, which is a list you don't want to be on, because Huawei's on it, and Huawei can't sell phones in the United States because of that. And now they were actually shown to be a national security concern. Okay, it was black and white. There's no ambiguity about that. All right, DJI, not one person has said anything about this. And I think the thing that gets me, and I've actually sent this out to my congressman, and I've sent this out to Senator Rick Scott and Senator Ashley Moody here in the state of Florida. I said, why has no other country on the earth mentioned one word about a national security concern with DJI except the United States? And
Rick brought that up in his video also.
Exactly. Okay. You don't see any of our allies. Okay. Let's say, Japan, the UK, Canada, anybody over in Europe. Not one person is saying a thing about that. Nothing. Nobody. Okay. So, just, you do need to watch Rick's video, and I am going to try to get him on because it was so well done. And I think you need to spend some time watching that to get a flavor for things and see how things are. What I'm doing right now, I continue to say, and I've said this before in the previous weeks, and I keep sounding like a broken record, but please hear me out. If you can buy batteries or props, okay, for your drones that you have now, do so. All right. And if you're able to buy a Mini 5 Pro when it comes out and you really want to get it, go through one of those sellers from South Korea. Okay. Watch Drone Nation from a week ago. You can find out who Tom used and you could use them. All right. They have been very reputable. I know for a fact, I know Tom's got his, Michael Wright has gotten his, Lon Dennard's gotten his through there, and they've had no issues.
I don't see Zach in here, but Zachary, who's on all these chats, he's one of the first ones to get one from South Korea, I believe.
Yep.
I forget Zachary's full screen name, but he's always in these chats.
Ray, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, and Ray's even in her state, right?
Yep. She hasn't responded. I've sent her communications, not one response. I've left the only one I've actually gotten any kind of a response from, so to speak, has been my local congressman here, Vern Buchanan. He's my congressman here in Florida, and I've gotten a response back from one of his staff members. Okay, that he said the congressman is reviewing, my email, and will get back to me. I'm not hopeful on that, but at least I got something of a response.
Yeah.
Okay,
Stefan, you can't even get the canned response from her.
Yeah. It's ludicrous because I think what they have been told was stay silent. Don't say a word on any of this is what I think it is.
Yeah.
Now, I know a lot of you have said, I know a lot of you have said that, this is automatic and it's going to happen automatically. I'm going to say this. Don't think that. All right. Absolutely. Do not think that.
But you're right, Bill. A lot of people have just lost hope. That's why they don't do anything now. They've lost all hope.
Yeah. You've lost all hope. And I get it. And I understand that. Okay. But, all right, we speak up. We have a voice with them. All right. Even though I know Richard says, we're pretty small. Over 650,000 people responded to this. Okay. Because it's just not drone pilots who are affected by this or hobbyists who are affected by this. There are business owners, okay, who are affected by this. All right. People who, for example, Ken Dono, it's what he does for a living. Okay. And he uses drones in his living for real estate photography and videography.
Every day, right? Every day. Yeah.
Every day. Billy Kyle. That's what he does too. Okay. Right. People, and I'm talking, and there are corporations who do things like gas line inspections, cell phone tower inspections, just all kinds of things, power line inspections, just ad nauseum on here. Businesses that have sold these drones, okay, employing people. This is not just more than just Part 107 pilots. This is far reaching, okay? And the estimated impact on this, they're talking anywhere from 750,000 to almost 1 million people will be impacted by this here in the United States should DJI be banned. And we're also talking first responders as well, too. And I think a lot of you guys know that. In the state of Florida right now, first responders are not allowed to use DJI drones. The governor signed that into law. And again, I went out, I messaged him, no response from him as well too. So, like I said, keep doing what you're doing. Keep responding. Keep
Bill,
commenting.
before the comment gets too far going here, Mike Ray put in the chat, the seller, the eBay seller that Tom and I used for the Mavic 4 Pro Creative Combo was DW/store 13.
Okay, there you guys go. Michael, thank you for sharing that. Appreciate that. Go out there and bookmark that seller. Write that down if this is something you want to be interested in, because I know both Michael and Tom have had a great experience with this, and it's something that I would highly recommend if you're looking to get the Mini 5 Pro. It's something I would definitely, and it's what I'm going to do. It's probably exactly who I'm going to use as well too. So, definitely go ahead out there and pursue this. So, with all that being said here, okay, don't lose hope with any of this. All right. Don't think that just because, we have been getting, stonewalled and not getting answers and everything here, that doesn't mean it's not a reason to lose hope. And I know a lot of you guys are kind of dejected by it. I know I've seen a lot of the comments that are out there that are dejected by it. Don't be dejected by this, okay? Because our voice, we've gotten out there, we've spoken out. And like I said, it's more than just us as Part 107 pilots and hobbyists. Business owners have gotten out there. They've commented on things as well, too, because it affects them. And like I said, the studies have shown it's going to affect up to 1 million people here in the United States and have adverse effects for them. Plus, on top, first responder organizations as well, too, and costing American lives, okay? We don't want any of that to happen. And I think, we'll have some favorable results. I can't guarantee anything like that, but I feel very hopeful. Okay. So don't stop with your emails. Don't stop with your phone calls to your congressmen and senators. If you haven't filled out that Section 232 comments, you have till midnight tonight to go ahead and fill that out, because it's too late tomorrow. So get out there and do that after Rotor Talk's over. I mean, that's kind of where things are right now. I mean, yeah, it's a time to be excited because, there's some drones in the works. Okay. We have the Insta360 anti-gravity. The Mini 5 Pro is coming out. The Neo.
And did you see somebody on Twitter? They posted some real good pictures of the anti-gravity.
Yeah, I did see that right before I got on. I was going to get that on there. We'll get that on next week, and I'll post that out to Bill, the drone reviewer, as well too. But yeah, we're getting more leaks about that as well too. So that's going to be very interesting how all of that pans out. So guys, don't give up hope. All right, please don't despair. Okay, at the very worst, I think what's going to happen is, okay, if they do ban DJI drones, okay, they're not going to shut our drones down. All right, we're going to still, and that's why I'm telling you to buy batteries and buy props, because for maybe a 3 or 4 year period, we're not going to be able to buy any new drones. All right, I don't know about batteries and props, so that's why I'm telling you guys, go out there and buy them now. Okay, I've known people, and I've had several people email me that they've purchased Mini 4Ks as a backup to their other drones that they have, even though they have one already, just because they want to have that in reserve, and they bought some extra batteries with that as well too. So be wise, be prudent. Not all is lost here, guys. All right. Ron, you have anything else to share?
Did you see? I wanted to see Johnny Dronefly's comment. If it was under 250 grand, they would have had that on there on the box.
Yes.
For the Mini 5 Pro. And Captain Joe America asks, at Ron, have you received your Mini V-Cop today? No, it's scheduled for tomorrow, and it was in Pennsylvania today, so it could make it tomorrow. So, Captain Joe, did you get yours today? I know Mike Wright got his maybe Monday or yesterday. So they're starting to get here, Bill. The Mini V. Hopefully next week in the show I can bring the Mini V copter on with me.
Well, maybe next week I might have a review of a SkyRover X1.
Oh wow. Well, the SkyRover, that ship's fast. Marcus said he got it in 4 days, but those drones like the Mini V copter, they may fly fast in the air, but when they're on a delivery truck, they move slow, Bill. They move real slow. When they're on trucks and planes and ships and whatever, they travel at like a snail's pace.
Absolutely.
Well, your
Absolutely.
benefit, when you ordered your drone was already sitting in an Amazon warehouse. That's why you benefited, Bill.
Well, with the SkyRover, I ordered it. It took about a
Oh,
good
oh,
7
okay.
days.
Oh, okay. It did ship from overseas. Okay.
It did come from Malaysia.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it did
Good.
come FedEx, and it did come from Malaysia. So
Well,
that's how it came.
yeah, they definitely have better logistics than in Indiegogo getting us these V copies. Mike's saying, Ron, my mini V copter arrived 1 hour ago. So he just got it as the show started. Wow. There you go,
You
Bill.
know,
Breaking news.
I'm hopeful that, because I'm actually thinking about doing it, but I don't know how long it's going to take now before they would ship new mini V copters out. So after placing orders,
Yeah,
so
I don't. Yeah, can you still go to Indiegogo and order one?
yeah, it's still active. I did take a look at the site the other day,
Okay.
so that's still up and active. So if you're thinking
Huh.
about doing that, do it. Do you have any things to wrap things up with here, Ron?
Yeah, you're not really. We cover a lot of stuff. Tonight and last night's show. I guess Bill, we're on holding pattern again for the Mini 5 Pro, which again I never thought August 7th was the real date, anyways. But we're in a holding pattern there, and we're in a real holding pattern to see if DJI products do go back on sale in the US starting sometime in September, and I believe, Bill, if that happened, maybe products that were ordered like these Mavic 4 Pros, maybe that you would be able to go ahead and get your warranty and your carrier refresh stuff again, even if you got them from South Korea. Do you think so?
It's possible. It's very possible.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if what we hear, what I'm going to close with, if what we're hearing is true about the reason they delayed the Mini 5 Pro, that they're working out a deal with customs to be able to get DJI product into the United States, that would be outstanding news, and that would be outstanding news for everybody. And and I know a lot of people would have to swallow real hard, the ones that paid well over and above for a Mavic 4 Pro. It would be some good news, and I think it would be good news on our end as well too. So cross your fingers, hope that that's true. Okay. And even if it isn't, you can still have that source. Then thank you, Michael Wright, for posting that out there of who you purchased that from on eBay. I think that will go a long way for a lot of people if you're interested in a thing like a Mini 5 Pro, which I am, and which I'm no doubt for me, I want to go ahead and get that. So, and I know Michael has said, no problem registering it, logging into it, getting firmware updates, anything. All things are good for that. Question of the day: what did you think of DJI status in the USA, August 5th, 2025? Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, it's a great day to fly.